that, folks. The stream went completely haywire. I don't know how much was missed or how much was not missed, but we do have. I do have it back up and running, and so we can continue on. But anyway, as she talks. So listen, my real job and your real job for the sovereignty is to find a way that we can bypass the nest, so to speak, right? Because look, they're jackasses. All right, we know they're jackasses. We just can't prove that they're jackasses. You know what I mean?
No, they're jackasses.
See, I'm glad you understand. So, the problem we having right now is that we don't have any way to ignore them. Like, if we wanted to get past them, we don't have a way to do that quickly. So we need you and your crew to set up a portal somewhere. Now, I'm sure some of you are in the know and have read up on the situation and kind of understand that. But I need you to understand it because what you have there is one of two fail-safes. So the first fail-safe is with someone else in your party, and they'll be able to activate it. The second one is in your hand. What it'll do is it'll create a link between... Once you find a place, if you create a square using most of that yarn, I suppose you could use all of it if you wanted a big enough portal. But anyway, if you create enough of it and leave it on a stable surface that has a lot of magical power in it, preferably not too much magical power, though. Anyway, if you put it somewhere that's magically enhanced, then it will create a portal that will connect the yarn to the doorway that we currently have waiting. And this will allow us to kind of, portal in troops or, whatever else we need. Because we're going to start as mere settlers, but from what I keep seeing from Nest and from the fact that every fucking day with this fucking inspection, like I'm a fucking criminal, these birds really are rude, you know that? Anyway, aside from that, we need to make sure that this mission goes smoothly. And from what I can tell, the other force that, your other party members went to, while they're surviving, they're not doing great. They only just made it to some place called the Great Plains. Don't know where that is. Don't know what it is, other than it's probably a plains area. But, yeah, the Nest isn't letting any of our ships move past any of their islands. So, we need eyes and ears and another zone to land in. If you can find allies who will protect or maintain the portal, then that would be a huge boon to us.
Do you have anything I can use as leverage to entice someone to ally with me?
Well, aside from the fact that we can give them any support in repelling the Nest or any other kind of factional wars or disputes, I'm afraid not. You're kind of on your own here, Chief. But it's a bargaining chip you have now, is that you can port in an army. What I would suggest, though, is finding somewhere away from the Nest, so that way they don't notice when we start to bring in actual, lots of people. You know what I mean?
I understand. I think I have an idea of where that could be.
All right, great. The only other thing I'd warn you about is that's connected to one of your Beastmen cities. The city of Oasis, I think it's called. Or is it Osiris? I can't remember. Your Beastmen cities are all named funny. Anyway, no offense, just, Anyway, find somewhere away from the Nest and away from prying eyes, and hopefully with an allied population that actually wants to work with us. You do that, and we can start sending in people and get our own kind of setup going and see what's going on. Because I'm not buying this whole Nest story to begin with. Not to mention, did you see them rules? Them laws, man?
I don't think I have, if there's anything new.
I mean, I don't know what's new, but the laws of the nest are the laws of all the nest and the loss of all the slaves, bruh. Like, that's horrible.
Oh no, that yes, I understand.
I mean, I know slavery's popular in the underworld as a form of penance, but like, jeez. Yeah, well. And she kind of shrugs. Look, just don't tell anybody you're doing this, especially not any of the locals. At least not until you can trust them, huh?
Understood.
Awesome. And she kind of looks over. What do you mean they want another? I gotta go. And you see the mirror shake violently, and the image fades away.
Well, I'm gonna put you and just put it in my bag. Okay, quick stock. Mirror, thread. Was there a third item? I think there was a third item, wasn't there?
Just the box.
Nope,
came
just
in.
the thread. I'm keeping the box. The free box.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with the box, but I'm keeping the fucking box.
It's a box.
Yeah.
Didn't you hear Boxing Day's coming up?
This is a bucket.
Well, I got a jar of dirt, so there.
Did you label the jar of dirt?
I wish I labeled the jar of dirt. Why wouldn't I label a jar of dirt? You gotta know
As
what's
it's
in a
not-
jar of dirt.
I was just making sure you didn't forget where your dirt belongs.
Belongs
But do
in
you
the
know
jar.
the
Outside.
specific country of origin from taste?
No.
Yeah.
I agree with Exile.
Exile knows his dirt.
But I did not disturb the dirt.
Never disturb the dirt.
How many more dirt
Don't link up
references
the
can we
data.
fit into one place?
Well, we were already talking about dirt earlier with my little plant spiel.
I know the town that it comes from, too.
Oh my god. That's a clever one.
Keep it away from anyone named Joe.
I don't know no Joe, but I do know Arango. Killed all them Jenkins brothers. I can't help it. That was an easy one. You set me up for that. But so you all gather the next morning. It's pretty easy to wake up to after all this place is. It has a very interesting flow. It's dead at night. There's barely any sounds other than the sounds of the swamp. And then the minute day comes, there's noise.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Yeah, there's just noise. The noise of the town coming to life. You're not sure why this is, it just is. It is what it is.
Okay.
And as you guys come downstairs, you can see that the elf Silva is waiting for you. He kind of looks up at you all. Oh, good. You're awake. I was worried that you had all died in your sleep or something.
Yuki kind of just looks, like with a head tilt. And then one of the cats is like, I was dead, but I woke up.
I'm not gonna question your health.
That's not anyway. And he kind of looks up. Oh, you guys ready to get the hell out of here? No offense, but
Yeah.
I don't like this swamp.
Can we grab breakfast first?
Yeah.
Yuki kind of looks at the poor guy. I imagine after being trapped for so long,
Yeah.
I think you wish to say see you later to those alligator people.
I swear I thought you were gonna say crocodiles.
I'm behind him and I say good morning, rubbing my eye.
He looks down
Good
at
morning.
you. Good morning. Do I'm not
Oh,
going
you'll
to
have to
ask.
do. Oh, good.
No,
Oh, I was gonna say you. Oh, you have to do spying with your other eye now. Does that mean that you're only a single agent now?
Mm, I can spy with both eyes.
Oh,
This one's
I-
not useless. It's just tired.
oh, poor dear. Well, you can nap on that eye and use the other one, right?
Hmm. What?
They were saying, yeah, the one that you're rubbing, you can nap on and use
No. I know.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
just.
Oh,
That's
in
just how
character.
she just does not compute.
Oh, like this. And Yuki demonstrates.
Is she
Like,
just
close-
closing one of her eyes?
Exactly.
Oliver's gonna try it.
That eye gets a nap now.
This seems difficult.
Oh, you can do it.
Hmm. I'd rather just nap with both.
That we can agree on. I would rather nap with both too. Yuki's enthusiastically loading up all of her merchandise and everything.
As you guys get to loading up, you guys are able to get breakfast.
Gobsy will dispense said potions now.
Ah, yes, and remind me the potions.
Basic healing potions, 4 of them.
Yes, that is right. I remember now.
Also,
I remember
I'm
things.
also as part of long rest, I can make me into potions equal to 1 hit die plus my level per potion. I took a feat.
Yes. You have.
So I'm making,
You're making.
and I had four of them. I have a question because of this ability with this count, and let me make an additional one. Let me post it in chat.
Let's see. I would say sure.
Okay, cool. I didn't know. I was like, I should ask before I put 5 down.
Yeah, sure.
But Gobsy is just like dispensing colorful liquids from her mouth into bottles.
Because those are phrases that was just said. But
Awesome.
as you dispense the colorful liquids into the colorful bottles,
Yeah.
as you all eat, Silva leads you all out of the town. A few people waving at you, a few people, just kind of ignoring you. A few people just staring at Silva, just slack-jawed, aww. Like, oh my god, what
That
is it?
still exists.
Yeah, Silva stands out more than even you, Gobsy.
Because they know at least, like, kind of a vague idea what Gobsy is, what the elves have been long gone for, like, centuries.
At least no one's seen any. But
That's weirdly news to Yuki. Given where I'm from and what the lore is. and how long I've been around.
well,
I'm like, I don't understand why.
what Yuki does know is that the Scourge Swamp is very isolated. Not many people come in, and certainly almost no one leaves. Whether that's because they get eaten, or whether that's because they just find a home and stay here. But yeah, it's pretty common that Well, rather, it's pretty well known that the Scourge Swamp is isolated as much as it can be in terms of the Wildlands. The only place that is more isolated is whatever's beyond the northernmost mountain range. Hell, no one even knows what's beyond the northernmost mountain range. They just know that there's something out there. The northern mountain range is considered impassable, whereas the southern border, yeah, that goes you to the scaled desert. And the kingdom is pretty close to that. And then, of course, far to the west is the Elderwood, which is said to be the birthplace, the true heartland of the Wildlands. But elves, specifically, are a rare enough sight. Even you don't meet. Even you haven't seen one in your lifetime. You know of them, but you haven't seen an elf specifically.
So, my friend, I And you see one of the cats like hand like a little a blanket to our friend, to our elf friend.
He looks down at it.
You see all the cats lined up and they all give a bow. We are sorry you lost your fur.
He tilts his head and looks himself over. I never had fur. Or at
There's
least
a
not
gasp.
as much as you.
There's a gasp, and then Yuki hands them another blanket with a worried expression.
I'm not cold. I have my armor and my gear, he says, gesturing to himself up and down. He is clad in what would basically be studded leather armor, but you notice that the studs are mostly wood and bone. He is wearing... Yuki can see that he is wearing pelts, and that on the top of his head are a pair of wolf-like ears, and he actually has a wolf-like tail, both covered in fur and moving, so they are attached to him. But he also has a set of pointed elfin ears.
Well, we didn't want you to be furless your whole life, but it seems like you have it covered.
It looks more like a tree.
He just shakes his head. Right. And he pulls a bow that clearly isn't one of his. You guess that he borrowed it or bought it from someone in town, as he's also got a quiver of arrows, and he tests it and just kind of... Those damn brutes broke my weapon. I'll have to replace it when I get home. Well, come along then. We have a long journey ahead of us, and it will be longer still if we don't take the fast route.
Fair enough. Come.
Away, away, onto the road we go.
And he kind of, he watches, he just kind of begins to loosen up, and then as you guys hit the wall of the city, he takes off at a run. He keeps it so you guys can actually keep up with him, but he is moving. And you guys are able to go all out. I would like everyone to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, come on. Oh, wait, did I click? I clicked Constitution.
Yep, you click save. Click the right thing.
I was hoping I accidentally clicked the Dexterity and just failed.
Okay. So, Teodor, you're last in the line. You're not used to all this. You're not a distance runner. Yeah, this is not what you do. But, by the end of the first day, you realize with him, specifically, you guys are able to travel quite a distance. It's not until much later that those of you who are magically inclined, basically those of you who are half casters or full casters, realize that you are being magically enhanced to pass through the terrain.
God damn it, Floss. Stop casting Forced March.
Oh, this is wonderful. I do not feel any trees biting my ankles. Really, truly wonderful.
He nods his head. It is a spell that some of us are able to use. More specifically, those of us who are more in tune with nature than other things.
You're a druid.
Only partly. I must admit my hunting is more of my skill set.
What taught
Oh,
you?
you're a ranger?
Yes. As for who taught me, that would have to be our own village's druid. Our druid, or as some might call him, shaman. They taught me as a necessary evil. Sometimes I am in need of sustenance, as were my wolves, he says, looking a bit dejected. But that is no matter.
I am sorry for your loss. I know what it's like to be responsible for others.
He just kind of nods. My hunting party and I came through this way. We are taking a different route than the way we came. We will be passing near a settlement. I don't know what it is called, but it is on the very edge of the swamp, where it starts to turn to rocky mountains. Once we hit the mountains, we'll be safer. The secondary group is going to be waiting for us at a rendezvous point. From there, we'll be able to be mounted, and we shall, of course, be able to ride more appropriately.
Well, I can ply my trade at the settlement, and
You certainly could try, though we don't trade much in the way of coin. We trade in trinkets and in gemstones, if anything.
well, that'll be lovely. She just doesn't look put off at this at all, because, she knows she'd just resell it later.
My people are a lot more simple than even the thicket. That was too much civilization for me. And he kind of shakes his body, as if the word is kind of toxic in and of itself.
Can actually understand. You see, back home we have a nice little field that we love to lay in.
You come from the walled city, is that correct?
Well, yes, Yuki says. But there's that little hint that she was going to say something else.
My people have heard of it. We would never put ourselves in a cage.
That is understandable. But it's more of a path to freedom for many. That's why we get to interact with you fine people. That is even why a rabbit fell from the stars to visit you. Looking over at Tobias.
I say again, I did not fall from the stars.
Oh.
That's
Come
the
now.
wrong accent. Fuck.
It's infectious.
You actually see him kind of look at you. Well, fell from the stars or not, your appearance, as well as the rest of you, you are all very strange, except for you two. And he points to Oliver and Yuki. You two are known to my people. Bird folk are extraordinarily common. But you, and he points to you, as someone from the walled cities, your kind is new. Though we have never seen you so far east before.
Yes, of course. Don't we usually come from the Great Plains?
Meowlicos, yes. But you're not like them. Not really.
Oh.
He says as he pats his nose. You don't smell the same.
And Yuki kind of goes, oh, I suppose that is true. I thought we were just some Valicos by a different,
He shakes his head. There's a more refined characteristic to your scent. Not the wilds that Meowlicos have. It's not unpleasant, but it's different. Just enough so.
Yeah. Yuki looks at kind of a loss for words because somebody's calling her out, basically. And she, it must be this perfume, she says. And kind of subconsciously, like feeling kind of exposed because her scent's being noticed, just kind of puts a little perfume in, right by the back of her ears.
He then turns to look at you, Gobsy. I must admit I have never seen one of your kind on its own.
Sorry, my headset was muted. I was trying not to interrupt. But obviously, I'm trying to do some help. The nest is a problem for even my kind.
Ah, yes, the bird folk. He looks down at Oliver. You seem to be one of this nest, yes?
Yeah, kinda. I'm sorta with them, against them. Sorta both.
Ah. Well. He kind of inhales. You are of the wilds, so you are allowed to pass into the forests without being, shall we say, confused?
I know.
Love Oliver. Sorry.
He then looks to the rest of you. I'm afraid such courtesy does not extend to the lot of you.
Well, they're my friends. Most of them.
I don't think it has
I
to
am
do with
not
being
one of them.
friends.
Well, it would if we ran into
No.
a child.
He shakes his
Oh,
head.
they're gonna say be friends.
He shakes his head. It's not necessarily that. It is...
No, it is necessarily that. They're my friends.
He shakes his head. There are rules that even I must obey. Ancient traditions. Those who are not blessed by the wild, or who know of the wild, must be confused when entering the wood, lest they bring the non-wild in.
Those that are not of the home like us tend to find themselves lost or forgotten. Correct?
Never forgotten. At least not by us. We always know where you are. Until the last moment you stop breathing, anyway. But yes, you will find yourself confused and turned around. And there is naught I can do to protect you from it.
Yuki just smiles. Good, so I am already confused. So it will be no matter.
There's no change.
Yeah,
There's
she just
no
smiled.
change.
Her eccentric just confidence.
The place we are passing by is known as the Boggy Bottom. It is home to a practitioner of magic that I would like to avoid. She is almost of an ilk with those that caught me, but she is far more dangerous by half. I believe she calls herself Ms. Ruby. At least that's what our scouts reported.
Well, we will avoid her, or I will sell her something, and we will be fine. Yuki's confidence and, but you see her kind of getting the gun out and kind of, like, making sure everything's okay. Say
that one more again there, Oliver.
Oliver says, what's she look like?
She stands at about 7 feet tall, is quite a massive person, and is a definite alligator crocodilian descendant of some kind. Definitely a distant offspring of the Maw.
How good is her vision?
We are not sure.
Okay.
Well, you said very tall, right? And of a certain nature? Well, a tall, beautifully scaled woman like that would enjoy... She's going through her sense. Just like she's like, yeah, I'll just give her something. That way she can smell wonderful and beautiful. All women should. And all men, too. Tobias, I think you should have the daisy perfume. I think a nice clean smell would suit you.
Actually, not opposed to that.
Well, I think it would suit you quite wonderfully. And she actually hands one to you, just kind of being friendly. She's kind of just a little bit of a good mood.
We are going to avoid her, if at all possible.
Oh, of course, but I must be prepared to make a sale no matter what.
The other thing I need to warn you of is we are going between the three locations, as we kind of call them. The Warren, the Den, and the Digs. Our path will take us right through all three of them. The border point where the Den and the Digs meet, and then, of course, the pathway that the Warren consumes. We will be moving quickly through there. We will not be stopping to camp.
Fair enough. I suppose then we'll have to rest pretty well before.
He nods as he eventually kind of slows down. And you guys come to a stream. We will be resting here. We are a few hours from where Ms. Ruby makes her lair. And
Very well.
then we will be going at a straight shot. Do not get lost, for the children of mole, snake, and rat do not suffer trespassers easily. And I do not have goats to appease the children of snake this time.
There's a gulp from one of the smaller cats.
He actually looks to you, Oliver. Are you capable of turning into a large creature that could carry some of our friends?
I don't think so. Maybe some of the little ones.
The little ones would be fine. The others with wings, and points to Autera, will have their own ways.
I think, out of character, I don't think I have the flight speed transformations yet, right?
You don't have flight speed, but you are capable of turning into a land creature large enough to carry people.
Oh, I thought he meant... Oh, okay.
No, because he can't fly either, so...
Yeah, the statement was more so that those of us that can fly, have our own ways of getting around the confusion.
Or rather...
It's a lot hard. Yeah.
Or rather, safely navigating the what's the word I'm looking for? The land.
Yeah. It's a lot harder to get lost when you can look directly down at something like it's a map.
How many do I need to carry?
Yuki and her small cats. So we'll call that 3. Tyrdor is kind of on his own because he's the biggest of boys. Sorry.
It's okay.
Whitehill would be able to change himself into pretty much anything. So I mean,
We also do still have Selfie as well.
the Axebeak, yeah.
Yeah.
And I have my my cart horse as well.
Ah, yes, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I got
So-
a cart and horse.
I mean, you would be able to. You would have to proceed with at least 2 people. But you could turn into something plenty big enough.
Yeah.
I believe with your cloak, your CR transformation is a 2.
Yeah, it's 2.
You could turn into an Allosaurus.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I don't know how big those are.
They're large creatures.
Oh, that's like a... It's like a T-Rex almost.
Not quite as tall, but yes.
It's
Yeah, it's
in
not,
the name, right?
like in between
Yeah.
T-Rex and Raptor, kind of.
Yeah. You could also turn into a giant elk, which is technically a huge creature.
Is that huge?
Yep.
Oh, it
a
is
giant
huge.
elk is a huge creature.
Oh, dang.
Because
Yeah,
elk
that's
are
probably the
already
biggest.
a large creature.
Yeah, I think giant elk is the biggest I can be then. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any other huge that I can be.
Yeah, I never knew that. That's kind of cool.
By the power of
the
elk,
giant-
fuck you.
The giant constrictor snake is huge too.
You could turn into one of those. However, Oliver, you think that turning into a giant snake among other giant snakes might be a bad idea. There is such a thing as territory disputes.
Yeah, but I'm,
Or, possibly looking like a breeding target.
I'm friend to all animals.
I mean,
God.
I'm just telling you it's probably a bad idea. This is what you know, but do you, boo-boo. I'm not going to stop you. I just have to tell you things that you would know in character.
Oliver would say, yes, I could carry probably 2 people, maybe 3 people.
Good. He kind of looks to the cart and horse and then the Axebeak. They would be easy enough, though the cart is going to attract some attention from the moles.
Well, let
I
me
could
see what I can
also-
do.
I could also go higher up in a way that's less conspicuous than the others and watch us from afar.
If I may, the issue that would attract the moles would be more of the sound and vibrations along the earth, yes?
Correct.
What if we were to take some cloth and wrap it around the wheels to pat them?
He kind of nods his head. Could work, but I don't have such amounts of cloth.
Yuki enthusiastically does, because I have blankets for all the cats plus extra. I have 5 blankets in my inventory. They quickly take the one that they put around our elf friend and then wrap it around, just having fun with it, as the cats are enthusiastically laying down on, the wagon wheels, now that they're all padded.
Well, that'll solve that problem. In the morning we will cross this stream and be on our way. I will take watch. And he kind of looks. If any of you feel the need to watch, I do not feel offense.
I believe that I could only be of assistance, Yuki says. Besides, I can work on a project or 2. If I may I see your bow?
He nods and hands it over.
I don't have woodworking, but I do have smith's tools. Is there any way I could repair it with metal? Like adding a metal splint or something.
So this particular bow is one he borrowed. His broken bow he does not have.
Yeah. Oh, so he doesn't have
No, it was taken away and broken when he was captured.
I misunderstood. I thought he was looking at it and then...
No, he was looking at the one he borrowed and growling and complaining that they broke his original.
Yeah, I misunderstood.
No worries.
So never mind. Not important.
But
however, I will take the opportunity to collect herbs, do all the Yuki things.
roll for the Yuki things.
So herbalism kit, I think.
Yes.
So I do have proficiency in nature. So is that advantage, right?
Yes.
And then
it's querying wisdom.
Wisdom? Alright. Well, even with that.
You do find a number of plants that have peculiar scents to them that you haven't smelled before.
She's gonna begin, categorizing them. That's kind of what she's doing late night. Just while, keeping watch with these guys.
So as everyone else rests, Silva kind of takes to his post, and Yuki watches. He eventually pulls out a necklace made of teeth and claws from the looks of it, and he begins to mutter something.
She just kind of watches, obviously not understand, knowing it's magic, but not able to really do much about it.
After about an hour, you watch as where 1 minute fog just seemed to kind of coalesce. You watch as the fog becomes solid, and you can see these intricate lines of runes tracing over the creature. You smell magic in the air. Earth, wolf, the wilds. And eventually you see if you could imagine what the perfect wolf would look like, while this is not that, it is close. It's like it's like a master forger forging like the Mona Lisa. It's off, but you wouldn't know it's off at first. Well, correction. It's off, but you would only know that at first looking at the fake.
Yeah. I get what you're trying to say. And she's very pretty wolf. And you see her, she has the gun, kind of laid out right next to her. She's kind of sitting in the cart.
Mm-hmm.
Gives her a little vantage point. And the blanket wrapped over her while she's doing her other work and just kind of keeping an eye out.
Silva nods his head. She is a loon, the gift of Wolf. I am his hunter. I am permitted to summon his likeness on the hunt.
Well, Loon, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
The wolf
Did we have a campfire tonight?
You did. There is indeed a campfire. As he kind of sits there, he's now looking into the forest, and a loon just making a slow, lazy perimeter around the camp. You can tell Silva is nervous, and he's hyper-focused. But he doesn't really say a whole lot. Presently, though, your watch comes to an end. Does anyone wake up for a second watch?
I'll wake up.
So Teardor and Altera are awake.
Oh, well, I could stand to get some sleep.
Silva just nods his head.
And she, puts away her work, categorizing all these plants, finding the best ones to make things out of. And then she, puts the blanket over her, and then just has her rifle kind of laying across. She's kind of experienced in the same thing, you know, kind of keeping somewhat awake, but she's just got herself in a position. And she kind of has the other cats kind of curl up with her, so it's like you can't really see that the cart is just full of cats.
It just looks like more storage.
Yeah, there's just nothing there because, you know, they don't stand up over it or anything because they're tiny cats. She's just, kind of falls asleep.
Tyrdor, Altera, as you two wake, Silva kind of looks to you. Hail.
Morning.
Hello.
Well, I guess evening.
Taking a watch yourselves, then.
Yep.
It's always a good way to not only kill time, but make sure that my friends aren't murdered.
He nods. Preventing a murder is a good thing. He then looks to you, Tyrdor. You are a ranger, are you not?
Yep. Well, more of a hunter, but yeah, I've been called a ranger.
I must admit, it caught me a little by surprise seeing one of your kind in the swamps. Your people are normally fairly nomadic here.
I'm not one of them, but I'm hoping to meet them.
Ah. Well, I do know of a place that they meet, though I would have to consult my maps, specifically. My own notations are on them, and they reside in my home. But I can show you where their usual migratory patterns are.
Am I the only one who thought, I forgot what our professor's name is.
Tobias.
I'm sorry, Tobias, but Tobias just waking up maps. That's all I could think of briefly.
All the maps.
He then nods. As my clan's chief hunter, I need to be aware of locations of potential allies. And your people have always been blessed by the wilds, so they have been free to come and go from the wood as they see fit. Though they are at least kind enough to send in a warning that they are on their way. Tell me, this land you come from, Tyrdor. I heard you and some of your companions say that you weren't from here, and that you were from someplace else. What's it like in this someplace else?
The tribes are much more freeing. They're not perfect, but I consider them much safer and less wild in a bad way. And, well, a little bit of a good way than here.
And yet, something like the nest hasn't taken over there?
Nope. No. God, no. No. If they did, there would be a lot of issues. We wouldn't put up with it.
He nods. Many of the wild ones have fallen silent. My particular clan is more susceptible to this. For many years now, Wolf has been silent. I have tried to reach out to him, so has our chief, but all we get is vague growls and warnings. Warnings of a threat that has come. I thought at first it was you. Well, rather, I first thought it was the children of the Maw trying to summon, well, the Maw into this world. Or Crocodile, or Sobek, or whatever name you choose to know him by. Then when you saved me and I heard you were not from here, I had first thought it was you. And now I am not so sure.
We'll have to find out who it is then.
Indeed. It is one of the reasons I suggested taking you to the Grove of the Grove of the Gods. If I can take you there, and they can appear before you, perhaps you can tell me how to free or how to reestablish connection with Wolf, for he will be there. He is one of the prime children, or at least so I last understood. Though Sobek is not too far behind in that race. Here, the more worshippers and the more devotees one of the wild ones has, the stronger and more central they become. You can imagine that the nest has, well, a majority.
Well, hopefully we can help you create a connection with Wolf, but I don't know what that's going to require.
We talked to the other tribes, the other wild elves, and they have not had any problem contacting their wild ones. It seems only Wolf is suffering. The children of boar, of bear, even of stag and wildcat seem to be fine. But Wolf is suffering, and we do not know why. It causes concern. Hence why I was sent out here. He kind of looks to the both of you. Have you ever lost so many of your own hunting parties?
Not many, but I have lost a number of dogs while hunting.
On the subject of loss, Altera kind of seems to shut down for a moment before idly turning and pulling their poisoner's kit out of their bag, and they begin messing with one of their vials of poppy extract and diluting a portion of it. I can't say I know much about loss.
I sit here and I wonder what to tell their mates and their offspring. It was I who led them here, and it is I who led them to disaster. But I do not know how to explain.
If you are children of wolves, wolves tend to be prideful. I believe it would be best to explain to them that they may have lost their own, but their own went down fighting proudly. They went down in a good way. Even if it's a lie, sometimes people need the encouragement to survive.
He looks to you, Tyrador.
Personally, I just tell them what happened. For good or ill, things happen.
I can see merits to both. But I think, yes, telling them as it happened might be the better option. And there is no small amount of honor in it. After all, my people never die alone.
Have you ever heard the term lie with the truth?
I cannot say
You
I
mean
have.
omission?
Well, sometimes if you tell the truth in the right way, no one would believe it. And sometimes, if you tell the truth in its parts, then it can be true without being true.
Sounds incredibly complicated.
I should believe so. I was part of a sect that usually hid in multiple ways. My official title was Scout.
Well, he kind of looks ahead across the river. And he just kind of lifts his lips back in a silent snarl. We will definitely have need of sharp eyes as we run tomorrow. I can already feel that things are different than the last I passed through.
If I am lucky, I might get to peck a few eyes out.
Tell me, Tyrdor,
Yes.
your lands, do they have wide forests?
That's a good question.
Uh,
One sec.
Tyrdor, yes, there are many forests in the overworld. There's even one in the underworld.
Okay. How about grasslands? Plenty of grasslands, I believe, too.
So the majority of the overworld is grasslands. There's way more trees here than you're used to seeing. Even on the Slave Isles, there seem to be just an abundance of nature. In the Sovereignty, there are more townships, hamlets, and basically farmlands that dot a lot of what used to be wilderness.
Okay. In my home, we have many grasslands. And we do have great forests with deep history, but nothing as vast or as wooded as here. It is a strange sight.
Well, I hope you find it agreeable. After all, this is, from my understanding, this is the birthplace of your people.
It's mostly politically disagreeable.
Yes, well, the nest didn't always rule. I am old enough to remember a time when the nest was just one of many small factions, controlling its little territory.
Nests are always full of little birds. I hope soon we can bring that entire thing crumbling down and watch their eggs shatter.
A bit violent and vindictive for one of your own kind.
They stopped being my kind after... What was I talking about?
Silva looks to you. Silva looks to you, Tyrdor, with a raised eyebrow. Like, are they okay?
I think they were talking about what they're gonna eat for breakfast.
Well, the early bird catches the worm. I wonder if I can find something tasty like that.
There are plenty of
we'll talk
creatures
about
in
it
this
later.
soil. He then nods. Thank you for speaking with me, Tyrdor. Oh, I would ask one final question. Elves. Are there elves where you come from?
Yes.
There are in my land, are there?
In your land, it's mostly wood elves. But
Not like him, though.
No, you've never seen an elf like him at all.
Okay. You are a caste different than the ones I've seen.
But there are elf kin there, yes?
Yes. Yes, there are.
Well, perhaps one day we can unite and share histories. I would be very interested to know what happened to the elves of this land. And why only those of us who live in the forests we do now survived. He then shakes his head. Sorry, I do not often get to wax philosophical. Mostly focused on surviving and the day-to-day.
It is fine. I understand.
He then looks up. You should both rest now. Your watch is over. Thank you, Tyrdor. And thank you, Auterra. You've given me much to think about.
I provided nothing. I just gave my own insight. And I walk off.
Good night.
Anyone for the
Do
final
make sure
watch?
you sleep.
He smiles.
Gobsy would like the final watch.
Okay. Gobsy, you wake up. Or rather, you refocus into consciousness.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah.
you see that Silva is still awake. But he's chewing on something. He is chewing on a type of leaf.
like getting her gear on, and would say, "What are you chewing on?"
He reaches into one of his pauldrons, which is made of wood and plant life, and pulls out a leaf from it and holds it out to you. Quick root. Well, quick root leaf.
Takes it and begins like twirl it between fingers and looks at it.
Roll an alchemist supplies check, querying intelligence.
Not strength. No.
You have never seen this particular plant before. However, what you can tell from the oils that it's secreting into your flesh is that this is a root, this is a leaf. While whatever the host plant is highly toxic, the leaves are safe for consumption, and you actually can see that they have a energizing effect.
Caffeine.
Almost like caffeine, but far stronger, and without
Cocaine.
without the jitteriness. However, you get the feeling that if he consumed too much of this in any one sitting, he would definitely stop his heart.
Let's say, how many of these have you had?
One leaf a night is all we are permitted.
I can see why. I would hand it back to him. Say, too many and your heart would stop beating.
He holds his hand, up. Keep it. I have more.
She'll put it in her, medicine bag.
That's the sound of would make your heart stop beating. Could that be made into something that could be used to end the existence of people we don't like?
You're asleep. I thought you went back to bed, Altera.
I never said I was going back to sleep.
I mean, he simply shrugs. You
Altera's like a... What was it, quick root?
Quick root leaf. Although quick root itself is also a plant. And yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm adding
toxic.
quick root. Yeah, I'm adding quick root leaf to inventory.
You have one dose.
I just put one. Yeah, just one. But for while watch is going on, before everyone else is waking up, Gobby's gonna cook breakfast.
Oh, and what are you cooking?
Do you smell what the rock is cooking? I'm sorry.
Technically, she's an ooze.
Yeah, but close enough.
Don't be racist.
With rations and stuff, with our rations and stuff, I'm just making soup or something nice. Something comforting before we have to run for an entire day.
Soup would be the easiest.
Can I roll my cook's utensils?
Yes, you certainly may. Querying dexterity or wisdom. Your choice.
Thank you. 14.
So, you are all roused by the scent of soup.
If it was higher, I'd say it's not soup, but yeah, it's soup.
Soup is pretty easy to make.
Yeah.
You are all roused by the smell of soup, and it is warm, and it smells delicious. And it is morning. The cats attack. Meow! Meow!
Gobsy, it's not quite ready yet. Just a little longer.
The night has passed uneventfully. You all have your full stocks of things.
Time to eat.
At least I made soup and basic bread. Because you can make
Soup.
fire bread. Yeah, that's fire bread. That's what that's called. Yeah.
And bread.
Is there a ladle in the pot?
Yeah.
Oliver's gonna pick up a little scoopful and kind of put her beak by it. Is there animals in here?
The answer to
Not-
that would be yes.
She
Would-
puts the ladle back down. and turns away.
Sorry, Oliver.
It's okay.
Oliver is a vegetarian. Oliver has taken the Beast Boy approach to life.
Would give Oliver 2 of the fire breads that she made. Because there's no... It's just like water, salt, and flour.
The
Oliver
cat's
can have my
seeing,
portion of the bread if I can have Oliver's portion of the soup.
Would hand Oliver Altera's section of the bread.
The cats all hand their bread too, because yeah, they don't really care. So you just end up with like all these loaves of bread.
They're like little fire cakes, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oliver's eyes are kind of like lit up, like dashing between each of you as you're giving her bread, and then like blinks a couple times, blushes a bit under her feathers, and turns around and starts eating it all.
Just breadcrumbs.
Aw, the power of friendship.
Aw, kawaii.
You
But
kind of
giving
gives kind of a nod of approval, and then kind of is looking out for Tobias from her cart.
Mr. Tobias, you
Yes.
wake up.
In the morning, yeah.
Okay.
Probably at the smell of the soup.
Yuki, you see Tobias wake up and head towards the soup.
Tobias, I told the cats that they would have some lessons with you today on the road.
Oh, what are we going to be teaching them?
I
Do you have a
did-
lesson plan in mind, or just...
You actually see that,
General
yes,
knowledge.
actually, because she was studying the plants last night. Yeah, I would like them to catalog and understand the plants of this region.
Ha.
Hold on. Ko was particularly interested in this subject, and, well, they've all been missing home, so a talk about plants would be appreciated.
Well, as I seem to be fated to be lost, if I try to navigate on my own here anyway, I will leave the navigating to you and just focus on teaching.
I will leave you to your best, and I will do my best to guide us safely. As one must.
Thank you.
And she just gives a polite nod, but she's super pleased with you, as you can tell. She's like kind of getting a little bit more trusting. And the cats, when they see you, they're running towards you with like bowls of soup and like expectantly, like, okay, lesson now.
Food and lesson.
They're like very excited for their lectures.
While you guys are eating breakfast, Tobias eating and teaching, at the end of it, Silva stands up. He actually did not partake of any of the soup, nor the bread. He kind of left that for all of you. But you notice he is eating something. He appears to have found or obtained some jerky of some kind somewhere. However, he rips apart the piece of jerky he's eating and begins to work a spell. And he then counts and frowns as he walks over to the draft horse, the axe beak, and then you, Oliver. In his hand is a... You wouldn't call it... It's a paste, to put it plainly. And he offers it to you, Oliver.
Oliver will take it and then put out her hand.
He nods. You'll need to swallow it.
She's putting out her hand like for a handshake.
He shakes your hand.
She lights up and eats it.
You see he takes a bit of it and eats it himself. He has fed some of it to the draft horse and to the axe beak. Oliver, this does not... You watched him make this paste out of animal, out of whatever jerky he was eating, but it doesn't taste like that. Instead, what it tastes like is dirt and earth and loam.
Wait, I knew this was made out of animals?
Yes, you watched him.
Oh, I wouldn't have eaten it then.
Oh.
I'm sorry, I must not have heard
As
that.
you kind of are just holding it and looking at it, he frowns. It is no longer what you thought it was. It is a spell that I worked. I need you to, if you are intending to transform and keep up with us today, you will need to eat it.
Even if you changed it, it's still of their essence. I'll hear their voices if I eat it, and I'll end up crying eventually. I'd rather not cry.
He seems to think about that for a minute, and then smiles and shakes his head. The magic within it has changed the essence of it.
It might be different now, but the way that I see it hasn't changed.
He kind of just shrugs. I'm afraid I cannot cast the spell any other way.
I appreciate the gesture, but I'll keep up. I promise.
He shrugs. And kind of looks to Theodore. Well, waste not. And he holds out his hand for the bit he's given you.
I give him back the bit.
Oh, no. Not you, Theodore. Sorry.
Oh, he's asking me for the thing back?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I hand it back.
He then gives over the bit to you, Theodore.
Oh. Thank you?
You need to eat it, in case you end up running for any of today.
Do I need to eat it now?
Yes, it will last for 8 hours, which is enough time for us to cross the barrens and what we plan to do here.
Okay. I proceed to eat the bit.
Again, it tastes like dirt, loam, and soil, but you also get the taste of magic, which tastes minty. And as it flows into you, he has activated a very unique ranger ritual spell. It is called the Hunt's Endurance. It allows anyone to travel for up to a 16-hour period at full sprint without needing to make a constitution or a dexterity check or saving throw. However, the caveat is that he can only cast this on a number of creatures equal to his wisdom modifier. So, himself, the Axebeak, the Draft Horse, and Theodore. But as you taste it, you can kind of feel the rejuvenating energy, and he looks down at you, Oliver. Do keep up, then, and try not to slow down. I cannot save you from the children.
I don't need to be saved from the children.
They need to be saved from me. What?
With that, he just kind of nods and then looks to the road ahead. Well then, let us travel, and let us travel quickly.
Is Gobsy on the cart? Can Gobsy be on the cart with the cats?
I would say yes. Tobias, where are you being?
Since I'm teaching the cats, probably on the cart with the cats.
Like in the cart?
Pointing, yeah. Like pointing out different plants and explaining what sorts of creatures might eat them and how they distribute their seeds, yada blah blah blah.
I imagine Yuki would be driving.
Gobsy can sit next to Yuki.
Ah, yes, sit next to me. I want to understand something, and I have a very important question. How
Oh.
do you know medicine when you don't have parts?
Gestures would say. Gobley's explanation would be, how do you understand? Would point to her gun when you don't explode.
True, I do not explode. I have tried. And she takes a look at the rifle, and then you see her kind of get a little quiet. Actually, I exploded many times. And she shows parts on her fur where it has been burned or singed, from like gunfire smoke.
Yeah.
That's inside of her armor where the fur had been singed before. Actually, when you fire this, sometimes you still blow up.
But you understand it through study. That's how I understand it.
I took apart my rifle. Did you take apart, like, various races?
They're not living.
So you performed a, how do you say, autopsy?
Yes.
Interesting. If you have the time, I'm a quick study. If you wish to write up some notes, I would be happy to learn how the insides of various creatures work.
Oh. Why I feel like they're just talking about how organs function for the rest of this ride?
Because that's Yuki.
Altera,
Yes.
are you flying? Or
Yes.
are you riding?
I would be flying.
Okay.
I'd have a selfie tied to the back of the wagon.
Alright, Teardor, you would be on selfie.
I thought Teodor could run the entire time and not worry about it.
He could.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He could if he wanted to. But if
You-
he
I'll
wants
just
to
keep running.
ride.
We can put May on. He's
But the
Mayhem's
one that we
still
don't
here.
have discussing, yeah.
Okay. Alright, so
The one who's not here is just riding the axe beak. It's fine.
I need and Oliver, what are you turning into first?
Giant elk.
Okay, perfect. So, as you all get ready and as you all cross the river, you travel for the first hour and you reach a patch of ground. The ground here is littered with holes, divots. It is rocky and hilly, almost like Badlands. You can see large rocky outcroppings sticking out of the earth. It is very different than the swamp you have left behind. Of course, there's also these patches of this long brush kind of grass. It has been browned and yellowed in the sun. It is a very different biome than you just left from. It is still hot, and the sun's rays are pretty intense here, as there's no cover and no real water source that you can see. Let's see. Who do I want to doom the party? Oliver, go ahead and roll me a D100.
Oh gosh.
I'm sorry. Who do I want to doom the party?
That is when you all notice it.
Is it a dragon?
No, it's the earth that is tunneling and moving around you. And it seems to be coming straight for you.
Yuki
Wolf,
panicking a little bit, getting her gun.
Silva seeing that just yells, "Move!" And he takes off at a dead sprint. I need Altera, Oliver, Altera and Oliver to roll a dexterity or athletics check, your choice. Oliver, you would be using the stats for the giant elk. Yuki, I would need you to roll a pilot groundcraft, querying dexterity.
I don't have that, but I do have animal handling.
Roll that at disadvantage.
Alright.
You said acrobatics, yes?
Athletics.
Athletics.
13.
And
Okay,
Theodore, I would need
that's
you
what-
to roll a. Theodore, I would need you to roll an athletics check as well.
Okay.
And if it's handling and inquiring
Are you kidding me?
dexterity, it would be 15. Just for the record, if it's still.
This is the second roll in a row that I've rolled a nat 1.
Yes, that's true.
As the earth begins to churn faster and faster, coming closer to you, imagine the earth churning like Bugs Bunny on steroids, as it's just a massive furrow of earth.
Like there's a moving hill towards us, basically.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Just in case this changes anything, my movement speed is 60 feet.
Nice. Definitely means you're one of the faster members of the party. Yuki, you're able to get your draft horse to move just a little faster, and stay on the trail that's kind of that you're following along behind Silva. Oliver, you're able to keep up. Altera, you're flying overhead. You're safer than most, but you're trying to keep up. Teardor, it's rough. It's not something you're used to doing, but you don't fall too far behind. Thankfully, this is a group check, and the majority of the group passed it. However,
Thanks, Viv.
However, as you guys are running, the cart is bouncing a little bit more than is appreciated. And so I would like Yuki to roll a D100 with disadvantage. So roll twice, take the lower.
Wait, who's on my back, by the way?
No one.
No one. You're
Oh,
just
Damn it.
It is at this point that up ahead of you to the right, as the mound of earth is still giving chase, a massive black and green serpent lifts its head and hisses at you from a large patch of this burnt grass, and seems to make challenge. As you run past it, it seems to go after you, as it is hungry. Go ahead, and I want those same people to roll me another athletics check or animal handling.
May I cast grease?
You may indeed. So everyone may roll their check with advantage.
Oh, thank God.
Oh.
16, 18 if we're using dex.
I am curious, since I am flying, wouldn't acrobatics be more fitting for the role?
No, because it's how fast you're flapping your wings and how hard you're flapping your wings.
Okay.
Not so much the skill you're using to flap them. I do apologize. I know acrobatics is your better role.
You had also earlier you had said I thought you had said athletics or dexterity, and that's what had me confused. I
I think that's actually a fair point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I may have misheard, but that's what I thought I had heard was athletics or dexterity. That's what threw me off.
Oh no, for Yuki it was where the dexterity came in is it was land vehicle navigation, querying dexterity. That is the role for if you were piloting a vehicle down here. And so with this particular role, Tobias, you move to the back of the cart and you cast your grease spell. And it does cause when the serpent gets to it, it causes it to be delayed, and it at first doesn't know what to do with the dirty, slick ground that it's found itself in. However, the more interesting thing that happens is the delay of the serpent has actually caused the earth mound to kind of catch up, and you actually watch as something breaches the ground near the serpent. It is a massive shape.
Let them flies.
You guys would recognize it as a type of mole, though what type you can't make out from this distance. But as it breaks the surface, it and the snake become locked in a pretty intense intense fight, all things considered. You notice, though, that the mole can't exactly get a good grip on the serpent because it's now greased up. However, the serpent also cannot coil or constrict around the mole because it's too greasy, and it's like almost pops the mole out of its coils like a cork from a wine bottle. It is a very humorous and horrifying fight, as this mole is large enough to consume the carriage, and the snake is equally as big. These are massive creatures.
You see all the cats like panicking and clutching onto whoever they can, just trying to hold on in a panic. As Yuki's like kind of trying as calmly as she can guide the horse through this.
As the rest of as you guys finally break away from this, and you continue on your way, I need Oliver to roll me a Constitution saving throw.
Yes.
Alrighty, and you did pass an equal number of checks before, so no disadvantage. Cool. And as you all continue, you're able to make it to the base of the mountain in question. Yeah, I don't like that one. And as you have arrived at the base of it, you've been traveling for hours now. It has been rough, but the beasts of burden in question seem to be making out pretty okay, all things considered. Oliver, you are exhausted. Just transforming so much, you are clearly tired. Because you've had to re-up your transformation at least once today. And while you are able to keep up, you're doing so, and the pace is not pretty.
You see all of the cats kind of noticing that you're tired, just say, hey, get in the cart, Like, they're like motioning Oliver down.
There is no more space in the cart, unfortunately.
Yeah, Oliver's just gonna just keep galloping along.
Cool.
And you just see disappointed cats, and then they kind of all lick. And they're like, we need a second cart. And then they're like, yeah, we need a cart for the cart. And they start talking about the measurements that would be required, having lessons with Tobias, and probably the subject of well, not engineering. I think it'd be geometry in this case. Has come up midway into the conversation, and they're trying to use their new math skills, which they have 0. I'm talking about the logistics of fitting a cart within a cart.
Silva, for his part, leads you up a rather wide trail. And yet, before he steps on it, you actually wouldn't notice it at all. It is barely large enough for your cart to kind of squeeze in, and in order to do so, you are constantly rubbing one end against the ridge going up. But as you do, and he winds his way upwards, he kind of slows the pace down and kind of huffs. We are nearly there, the top of this falls. And you do notice that there are a number of waterfalls. There is a great waterfall next to you. However, there is one thing about the water that causes all of you great concern. It's red. And I'm not talking it's kind of red. I'm not talking... No, it's like Kool-Aid punch red, bruh.
It is just red.
I guess for Yuki, what does
Even-
it smell like?
Even as it falls, it's red. Go ahead and roll a perception check with advantage.
All right, so we'll have Yuki do that. Hold on. Character sheet was being silly. Here we go.
You get the distinct sense of metal. It's almost metallic in scent.
But not blood, right? You know,
No,
because I would
not
recognize that. So,
Not blood, but
huh.
there's definitely a metallic tang in the air around you.
iron rust? Oops.
You'll watch as Silva takes out a series of leaves that he kind of fashions over his nose. And you guys go up this switchback trail, and you're traveling all day to get up this switchback trail. Just this way, that way, this way. Some of the sides are so narrow that your cart is basically on one wheel. For all intents and purposes, Yuki. Your cats and everyone in your wagon all get to the one side in order to keep it balanced.
Yeah.
But you eventually manage to make it to the top. And as you do, there's a large, almost like a valley, or a gully, rather, that kind of, you guys have kind of like appeared here. I'll put you guys with a green circle. You guys have appeared kind of here. And as you get here, the ground kind of levels off, and there's plenty of space now. And you realize there's actually two mountain ranges that create this kind of narrow valley, or strip of valley. All along the floor of this valley are grasses, some plant life. Ultimately, the valley is still higher up than the swamps below, but the mountains on either side are even taller. And as you enter this valley, he kind of looks to you all. Welcome to the Great Divide.
No.
This is what my people call it, anyway. It divides what will be the Great Plains from the Scourged Swamp.
I see. And you see Yuki kind of taking notes, you know, just on all this, and she kind of looks. It's interesting. I like all this red, actually. It reminds me of the mines back home.
One thing that is very clear is that the soil here is red in color, and again, it's like red velvet cake red.
Yeah.
The plants are still much the same color, but for some reason, the ground that they're growing in is a very rich red. He points further south. Down there is the warren, the rat's warren. I would stay away from it unless you wish to become food.
You see all the cats like get excited, and then they say, "Oh, the rats eat us," and then they get really disappointed.
Are they also red?
Some of them. The red ones are not the problem, though. The children of rat are the problem. They are massive creatures. You would know. Imagine rats the size of horses. And he pats the horse that you have.
Okay. Are they also red though?
No, the red ones are about the size of dogs, and they're dangerous, but they do not travel in groups.
Oh, that's better. Okay.
But the red rats do cause the plague.
Mm-hmm.
It is specifically known as blood rot plague.
You know, I'm gonna just advise this. You elves should abandon these lands and just come with us someday.
The blood rot is problematic, but we have a cure. I just do not have any on me.
Hmm. And how would you make a cure?
By using blood orchids. They grow in my forests.
Oh. Okay. I was hoping you weren't going to continue with the blood theme, but I think this is an ongoing trope I'm going to have to expect.
You can also use heart fungus, or heart mushrooms, as they are also called. They rely in most of the digs that the moles make. They are a delicacy among the children of mole. The children of rats all have pestilence. They are disease made manifest. It is why many creatures eat them. Mole, snake, the maw, wolf, wildcat, eagle, falcon, hawk, owl. Many creatures eat rat because rat needs to be eaten. It is very symbiotic. From the silence, he just... well, at least we think so. Anyway, let us carry on. If something moves, do feel free to alert. After all, the ground is not always ground.
I don't like that sentence.
I hate every word that comes out of your mouth the further we've gone into this place.
It is only the Scourge Swamp that is so dangerous. The Great Plains are mostly peaceful. So long as you do not bother any of the larger creatures.
Well, we are guests here, so we should do our best to alert anybody coming to visit us. So that we can greet them properly. Yuki says with a nod. And did you hear the little click of her rifle as she,
Greet them
She just
properly.
fucking
Click.
cocks her gun.
Yeah.
Stand caution, but you all seem to be very on edge.
Well, for good reason. We nearly got eaten.
I'm not on edge.
Says Oliver, who has reverted back to Oliver.
Nearly is very far from did. We did not.
I agree.
Fine.
I agree, but it's better to not take risks.
Okay, if we get eaten.
We encountered a
Oliver's
situation, we
amazing.
found a way around it. If it happens again, we can try the same solution, and if that doesn't work, we try another. It's a fairly straightforward process.
Tobias, or I shoot it before it becomes a problem. Proactive responses are also necessary.
That is another
No.
solution.
Always have to kill things, you know.
Yuki kind of looks at Oliver when he says that, and you can see a moment where she has the same look that she did when she almost stomped out those little alligator in the last 2 sessions ago. The little alligator babies.
Oliver's gonna say, I remember that look.
And you see her kind of sigh and actually agree with you. I mean, yeah, perhaps violence is not always the correct answer. But it
Oliver.
is one.
Oliver perks up a little bit as you say that.
And she just looks kind of lost for a second, and then she goes, what do I know about violence or anything? Mere cellar of scent. And she just leans back and begins a conversation with Gobsy about, like, some random anatomy thing.
You
Like,
could
as
also
if
get
to
a
change the
conversation
subject,
with-
but it's so
Yeah.
random that it fits her.
You could also, I think you've also found out you can talk with her about alchemy.
Oh, probably right now? Yeah, you guys probably actually know a lot about alchemy together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yuki explaining probably the possibilities of scent and their magical properties.
Gobsy is fascinated.
By the way, do you have a sense of smell?
Not in the same way you do.
Because you have an appetite. You ate, like, this many cheeses, she says, raising up both paws.
She'd say... I needed to change some... my alchemical makeup for... our journey.
Yuki's kind of, like, looking at her. And...
Enough cheese can do that. Cheese has quite a lot of things inside of it.
I want to... She just, like, licks a little off. I want to study you. You are like a living alchemical ingredient.
Oh yes, that's why she pulls out a bottle which looks like it just filled with liquid her. You could drink this and I made it so it would heal.
She doesn't... You see Yuki's face. For once, she's put on the back foot.
Drink me.
Yeah.
Little bit. I mean, it's a little thick, but that doesn't help.
Chug.
Be thick.
I am a child.
I hope it fucking falls out like rotted milk.
Yuki...
No.
Chunks
like-
in it from the cheese.
No, it's just a
No.
solid, like, Newtonian liquid.
It's the consistency of, like, gravy.
Yeah, you see Yuki, like, get out, and you're, like, a black color. So you see it, like, she spreads it, and it just, like, drips down her hand, like gravy. Yeah. And they're, like... You see all the cats watching intensely, and because she's got, like, all these cats behind her, she has to kind of, like, toughen up. And you see her give a kind of, here goes. And yeah, she'll try it.
It doesn't taste that. Have you ever had really minerally water?
Yeah, something like that.
It's like little. Think like, electrolytes. Like when you have something like it's kind of salty, it kind of tastes like someone's tried to make water really healthy, but it's thick.
She gives a smile. It's like, oh, it's not bad. In fact, you are quite delicious. Yuki says, leaning in, giving this nasty smile, as you notice all the cats are like, tasty. And you have like 5 cats surrounding you.
She doesn't. She said she made this one for healing. I don't know how Gobsy normally tastes. Probably tastes like oil and chemicals.
Yeah, but that's...
And you smell like it too.
I smell like that and ozone right now.
Yes. I think with the right seasonings, she says, leaning in closer.
I ship it.
I ship it. 1 second, I need to change the battery in my headset. It's dying.
I suppose if we made her eat, like... Yuki goes to her bag, like, 6 stalks of catnip. And she's figuring out how to, like, flavor Gobsy.
You actually listen to, you actually hear Silva pipe up. There is no correlation between a creature's diet and its taste.
Well, that's just wrong.
That's just
Yeah, Yuki's actually aware of that.
There is a correlation between its diet and its toxicity.
And certainly its taste.
I guess
There is a hot topic.
Toxic. Whoa.
All my
Yes,
friends are
predator fish taste
Wow.
way better
What?
than non-predator fish usually.
Anyways,
I have been instructed no singing, so I must sing as much as I can, off and on.
But yeah, Yuki pressuring and trying to get Gobsy. So what would you taste like if you ate, like... And the cats are like, ooh, eat this! The cats are, like, really curious.
Gobsy trying to explain, not to Yuki, but to the small cats, that like, if you give her something, she can break it down and make it into something else, if that's what they need.
You can make it into something tasty.
Maybe? Would think. Has to, like, process how the chemical makeup of what they're trying to give her.
They're just handing you random tasty things because they think it'll work. And you see Yuki just giggling now because now she's pretty much, free to do whatever.
Yeah, Gobsy
She's gonna
is
sick the cats on you.
Yeah, Gobsy is a literal living alchemic factory. I can dissolve something and turn it into raw components, probably. I have a
As
whole
you guys
feat for that.
are, as you guys are moving, you hear a, "Ow, ow, ow," and
What do we hear?
howling.
Your mic just cut out.
Yeah,
I
I cut
figured
out
it would.
completely on that.
Mm,
Something like that.
more broken up into a short burst of 3 howls. However, the reply from Silva is one long howl. And as soon as he howls, he listens, and he gets another reply as a pair of short barks. And he smiles. It seems our traveling companions are closer than I thought they'd be. And he guides you to a clearing. Right before the mountains begin again. And you can see a small tent. Except, it's not really a tent. It's grass and twigs and leaves that have been grown in this shape. That's the only way you
A
can really
grown
describe it.
thatch hut?
Yes.
That's awesome.
And as they emerge, you see one of the individuals step out, and he looks to you. Silva, thank goodness. Who? And he kind of looks beyond. Silva and him drop into a language. Do any of you speak Sylvan?
I do, actually.
I do. I need to double check.
Gobsy don't got that, Chief.
I do.
Those of you who speak Sylvan are capable of understanding the conversation. Who are these strangers you have brought with you? Are they safe? They saved my life. We owe them a debt. They're coming back to the forest with us. And the one pulls up a sprig of mistletoe. Oliver, you recognize this as a druidic focus of some kind. And he kind of waves it over you guys, or rather, in the air, kind of directed at you guys. And he kind of looks to Silva as some of you, Teardor, you glow green. Oliver, you grow a very vibrant emerald green. Yuki, you glow a sickly greenish gray. Gobsy, you just glow gray. Auterra, you glow a very like minty kind of green. Surprisingly enough, though, May actually glows a very foresty kind of green. And your cats glow various shades of green. The Meowlico's closer to your color than anyone else's. Whereas the regular kittens are actually closer to Teardor. And he kind of the clearly druid kind of frowns at Silva. Not many of them are blessed by nature or the wilds. Are you sure this is wise? And Silva shakes his head. I'm not sure of anything other than they oppose the nest. And any who oppose the nest should be friends of ours. Besides, if they cannot bear the confusion, then we will simply guide them and let the forest guard itself. This is how we have done since I was young and you were young. There is no need to change it now. Very well. It is not my place to question the chief hunter. And and Silva nods, and he then turns to you all. Apologies. This is our shaman. He is known as Galen Wolf Whisperer. And Galen bows. A pleasure. May the wilds watch over you.
It is in Sylvan. It is absolutely a pleasure to meet you.
It's an honor.
And she just
Thank
gives
you.
a slight nod. I am sorry that we were not to your liking, but we will be able to pass through, I'm sure. With wonderful hosts like yourself.
He looks to the rest of you.
Why am I green?
Gobsy sitting here. Gobsy, I kind of understand why I'm gray.
I
Weren't
apologize.
you already gray?
It is a bit of detection magic. It allows me to see how blessed or in tune with the wilds you are. Some of you are more in tune than others, he says, looking to Yuki and Gobson.
Yeah.
He then looks to you, Oliver. I see that I have one of my own vocation among you. Welcome.
Is he speaking common or Sylvan still?
He's speaking beast speech, actually.
Oh,
It is essentially the common for this land.
Oh, okay. You mean a druid?
Yes.
I guess so.
I guess so. I like Oliver. She's so much fun.
He nods. Well, we will take you to Forest Edge, but the chief will have to have words with our hunter. And you actually
That seems amenable.
actually see Silva look at Galen and snarl, but Galen just kind of lowers his head. After all, the chief will be deciding how to reward you for aiding our hunter. You then notice that the rest of these elves all have canid features. Some of them have fluffier tails than others, but all of them you would call either wolf-like or at the very least canid-like. And there are a total of 6 elves here. Only Galen, Silva, and one other are males. The rest are females. You also notice that they have a large collection of wolves with them. However, none of the wolves that are with them have the same runic patterns as Silva's. It seems like all of them are more naturally born. The one thing you do note, however, is there is a massive white and black tiger with massive saber-like fangs just sleeping under a tree. The tree itself, not natural at all. The bark of the tree is gray, the leaves are a kind of purplish color, and there appears to be blue fruits hanging from it. And as Silva approaches the giant creature, he speaks to it. He croons at it, I guess would be the more appropriate word. And in Druidic, Oliver, you get the sense that he is basically coaxing the creature awake, and that he has come home. To which it opens its eyes and leans up and licks his face. He smiles and flips himself onto its back, and then looks to the rest of you. My party will... and he gestures, and there are dire wolves that are mounted. You can clearly see saddles and saddlebags. My party and I will ride on. You all can rest. I am sure some of you are more tired than others. Oliver, you do notice that the other druid actually pulls up an elk, and the elk allows him to mount. And Galen actually offers you a hand, Oliver. Would you like to ride with me?
Okay.
He helps you onto the back of the mount, and Yuki, Gobsy, you guys are let to either ride on the back of one of the direwolves, which can carry you and their rider, and one of the elves actually takes the seat at the front of the wagon, whispering some words to the horse. The axe beak is undone and kind of guided to one of the one of the dire wolves. Auterra, you're able to catch a ride on one of the wolves as well, and you all travel, and you all make incredible time. Those of you who ate the enhancement putty, as I'll call it, you guys managed to stay awake, though you are getting the benefits of a long rest. Oliver, you're tired. You fall asleep pretty easily.
Can I roll to try and stay awake?
Constitution check.
Just straight Constitution?
Yep. Unfortunately, you do not.
Damn.
You are a tired burb. But as you all continue on your way, the journey is quick. You then eventually are all roused from your sleep as daylight breaks. And the light kind of washes over you. And as it does, you have arrived in a small settlement. And you see that here... here you can actually see that all of the buildings look like they grew out of the ground or out of plants. There is no building materials. There's no like wood that's been shaped or carved into certain patterns. Everything here looks like it has grown to be the shape and the size and the desires that it is. It is interesting to say nothing else. And you can see that Silva kind of smiles. Welcome to Edgeton, or rather, the Forest Edge. This is where outsiders can stay a while and be safe. Further in is where we make our home. I must travel inward in order to speak to the chief. Galen, kind of bites the name, will be coming with me. And he gestures. There is the tavern. Feel free to take rooms there. Tell them that Silva is covering your costs.
Where on the map are we?
It is on a different map entirely, and I will have that for next session.
Thank you for your kindness. And, yes. Am I, free to roam around?
Yes, you are not prisoner.
Of course, I just wanted to know if there's any areas I should not go as a guest.
If you enter the forest, you will find yourself returning to the town. So there is little point in trying to travel into the wood without an escort. Though I think, and he kind of looks to Oliver, I think you might be safe, but I would rather you not, for fear of my people not understanding that you do not come in. You come in peace, not with harm.
I'm not so good with people. But I could keep us safe in the wild.
With that, he just kind of nods. And then he looks to the lot of you. Thank you again for your help. I would not be able to return here if not for you. Although I am afraid I have half a dozen people to inform that their hunters will not be coming back.
I do not envy the news. But at least they got, it wasn't a baker's dozen.
He nods. He pats the big saber tiger, and he lunges into the forest with the druid hot on his heels after waving goodbye to you, Oliver. And you guys are now in the town of Forest's Edge, on the edge of the Great Lupine Wood. So, that, we shall cut it for this week. Thank you all so much for watching. I do apologize for the disconnect. One of these days, we will have a day where nothing goes wrong.
No, we won't, because then it wouldn't be a good stream.
It wouldn't be a Dr.JWolfenstein stream without the weird stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it is through our failures that we succeed.
Well, goddamn, I must succeed a lot then.
Yeah,
But
we all
allow
do.
me to thank...
My many nat ones is wonderful, if that's the case.
I mean,
So Yuki's always right.
As you all know, I couldn't do this alone. Let me thank my fantastic cast of characters. In the order they appear at the bottom of my screen, we have Gobsy, played by Mr. Eric.
hello. I don't know. I have no idea what we're doing in this town for downtime. I'll figure it out. Probably make more potions.
We have Yuki, a mere seller of scents, played by the ever-lovely Callie Cat.
We have much to sell these people and much to buy from them. I am very excited to make their acquaintance.
We have Autera, played by Mr. Crowlot.
To be truly fair here, the good doctor does this all alone. We're all simply figments of his active imagination.
Well, We have Mr. Teardor, played by Mr. Matt Mochi.
Hello, I am Grumpy, the Hungry.
I am Grumpy the Hungry?
You fucking heard him.
I did. I just... Alright. These were words that I heard. We have Professor Tobias, played by Meister Exile.
Ew.
And last but certainly not least, we have Miss Oliver, played by my brother David.
I wanted to stay up so I could talk to that druid. I'm gonna go pout in a tree now.
You'll still get an opportunity.
But yeah, they have fled the bounds of the Scourged Swamp, for better or for ill. Probably for better. Because that place kind of sucks. What?
Sound tired?
It's not so bad.
I'm always tired.
Perma-tired.
Yep. I am a permanently tired pigeon. I'm not the early bird, I'm not the night owl, I'm just the pigeon who's always tired. But
Permanently tired quail.
I want to thank you all again for watching, and we will certainly see you next week. Next week we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programs, as well as viewing, as I will have my avatar working and so on, and we will see you on the high seas of Odari next week. So, thank you for joining us here in the Wildlands, and until next